Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Baking Bakers. We're not in a kitchen, at least not yet. This one we're starting out in a cornfield. We're actually out in our sweet corn patch here, and we're going to start picking some sweet corn because today is corn freezing day. So, let's get to picking. We have been pulling some ears out of here for just eating in the evenings or at dinner time or something for a little over a week now. So I think we've got a fair bit of corn that is good and ready. We're looking for brown tassels, nice plump thick ears like that one. So we'll go through and pick a bunch and then peel them at the end of the field. This one here is going to be good. I don't know if our sweet corn is necessarily great across the board because we've been pretty dry here and I don't have a good way to water it. But we'll get plenty. Once we get some ears picked here, we're going to peel them. Get as many silks off as we can reasonably. Any little pieces of husk that are still on there. If the end's bad, you can break that off. This one wasn't really that bad, but we're going to wash these yet, but the more we do now, the easier it is later. And then we place it in our tub of water, let them sit there while we do the rest, and then eventually we'll take this up to the house and get our brushes and scrub them. All right, after we have our corn all husked and in the water here, we're going to take them up to the house. We're going to get some bowls around to put stuff in, pans, and start brushing them, washing, trying to get all the silks off, and we'll go from there. So I ended up picking, I don't know how many dozen. I picked 2 big full basket loads. Really, it was just kind of 2 rows of my first planting here. We've got a bunch more corn out here, so we may do more than this, but that's where we're going to start. All right, the next step in our corn here is to kind of pull our ears out of our water bath, and we're just going to brush them. I've got this corn brush here. Get all of the silks off, much as possible. And here we have another container we're putting the clean ears in, just to let them sit there until we're ready to start cutting. There is all of our washed ears. We're going to load up some of these pans, and we like to work outside because it keeps the mess outside. But we're going to head over to our table there and start cutting. So we cut our corn off the cob before we cook it. All right, the next step in our sweet corn process here, we've got a big cake pan and our clean ears, and we have our little sweet corn. What do we call this? It's kind of like a knife. I don't know. It works like this. Cutter, sweet corn cutter, and we cut all the kernels off. Just like that. It can be a little messy, which is why we like to do this outside. All right, once we get a bunch in our cake pan here, we dump them into a bigger bowl.
It should be okay. Clean hands.
There's only a little bit of grease in there from Ryland's fingers.
Yeah. All right. And then you follow Mom inside.
Welcome to corn making, the inside part. So once we have enough corn that we can cook a couple pots at the same time, we bring it over to our stove and we cook it just enough. Not completely through, but enough so that it changes color. Hold on, let me get you all set up here. And I am using, hold on, sorry. I have a big canning pot that I use and then a kettle on my other burner. So I do quite a bit at once. The ratio is about 4 cups of corn to 1 cup of water. And I honestly have been doing it long enough that I just eyeball it. So we're gonna go ahead and put some in here. Okay, it's a 2-person job being done by 1 person. I'm going to fill this pot about 2/3 full. Maybe half full. And then put some in this pot. All right. So again, if you want to measure your corn and your water, it's about 4 cups of corn to 1 cup of water. I am just doing it by eye because I've done it for years and years and years. So it's about 4 cups of corn to 1 cup of water. We're gonna bring that to, we're gonna cook that on medium-high until the corn just changes color. So it's gonna take a little while because it's a big pan. Meanwhile, I wanna show you some other things. Okay, over here I have prepared a table that I've put just a plastic disposable tablecloth on to catch all the mess. Corn has a ton of starch in it, which makes it incredibly sticky and very difficult to clean up. That's part of the reason that we wash it and cut it outside to keep the mess out there. And then we bring it in here to cook it and cool it. So I have that. I have these pans that I just reuse every year. They're disposable pans, but they work perfectly for cooling down the corn. I have prepared some quart bags that I just put the year on. And we try for ours, we put about 2 cups of corn in each bag. I also have a fan to help cool the corn down quicker. We don't want to bag it and freeze it until it's room temperature or tepid. You don't want to put hot corn in a cold freezer. So we will be using this area shortly. Back over here at the stove, my corn is starting to get up to temperature. It's not at a certain temperature that we like it. It's just when it's parboiled or partially cooked. And as I said, it will change colors. So, and that's how I'll know that it's done. Some people at this point will add salt to their corn. Some will add sugar. Some will add cream or milk. We just like corn. We'll add the seasonings later if we want to. We just freeze it with nothing special in it. So we'll let this cook a little bit and we'll check back. Okay, I think that this corn is about done. It's a little hard for the camera to pick up the color difference, but I'm going to try to show you. This is the cooked corn, and this is raw corn. And the cooked corn is just a little bit deeper yellow, and that's what we're going for. So hopefully that helps give you a visual. We're going to go ahead and take this kettle back out over to the table and pour it in our cooling pans. It smells really good. I'm going to turn on my fan. And then periodically we'll just come in here and give this a stir until it's cool enough that we can bag it. Meanwhile, the guys are out picking more corn. We weren't exactly sure how much we wanted to do, but we've decided to go ahead and pick a couple more rows. So they'll be doing that. I have one little small batch that they have cut off for me to go ahead and cook, so I will do that. This method really works well for us. This is the way we've done it for many years. I used to cook my corn on the cob and then put it in an ice bath and then cut it off. And this is so much easier. Some people will say that you lose some of the flavor by doing it this way. I disagree, and I think my grandkids and my kids would disagree as well. It tastes pretty doggone good at Christmas time and in the cold winter months. I have found that the more you stir it, the faster it cools. And when you're doing lots of corn, if you need your pans to turn over to get the hot corn cooled, you can either add pans or you can stir it a lot so it cools quickly. I have that little small batch that I was making that's ready to be dumped. Instead of getting another pan out, I'm just going to combine these. They're almost cool, they're just not quite cool enough. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll get my pan and dump it. And again, we just don't add anything to our corn. I am confident that the corn we grow here on the farm is super sweet in and of itself, and we don't need to add butter or sugar or cream or salt. So you can do what you want, but that's how we do ours. So we'll be back when this is ready to bag, which will be shortly. These 2 pans of corn are cool enough to bag, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Again, I use a quart bag that I've just put the number 25 on for the year. I have a 2-cup measure, and I'm just going to scoop some up, and I'm going to make sure I get some of the liquid and some of the corn, obviously. Pour it in there. press the air out, and then we're gonna lay it flat because it's gonna freeze nicely like this. Much better than if it's all in a bundle at the corner of the bag. Excuse me, if you have a second person to help you, that's great. You can do it by yourself. My guys are all tied up with cutting corn off. You can put as much in as you like. This is what works for us. Oh, sealed it before I got the air all out. If you have any questions or comments about any of these steps, you can leave them down below. We'll try and answer them. Lots of farmers markets around here this time of year sell corn, and you can buy it by the dozen. So if you don't have your own corn, you can buy some from a farmer market or a private person. There's little farm stands all over. And you can make some of this and freeze it for your family. Oops. This is why I have a plastic tablecloth, so that I can just throw it away. I'm going to pour this into here. So that pan's ready for the next batch. Get another 10 bags. If you did 12 bags, you would have one each month for the whole year. So you don't have to do a ton, but we do enough for our kids and grandkids. So, and a lot of times they're here helping. Oftentimes we'll have a crowd helping us. But it didn't work out this year. We were going to do it last weekend when my middle daughter was home, but it just wasn't quite ready. So you have to do it when it's ready. Okay, it's trickier. I'm going to pour off some of that liquid. And just dump it all together. And re-pour that liquid off without pouring some of the corn out. that's a little small bag, not quite 2 cups. But that first batch that we did in those 2 pans has yielded 20 bags of sweet corn. So, looking good. Okay, we're ready for round 2. The guys are still outside cutting corn, so I'm gonna fill this pan and then hopefully the rest of it will fit in this smaller pan. And once again, the ratio is about 4 cups of corn to 1 cup of water. But I like to measure it with my heart. So I'm going to turn this on medium high and we'll start cooking it. So far we have 27 2-cup bags of corn ready for the freezer. I am a big fan of cleaning up as you go if you can do it. So the pans that we're done with, I'm going to go ahead while I'm waiting for my corn to cook. I'm going to go ahead and wash these up. And I know that I have talked about these pans before, but boy, when you're making a big project like sweet corn, jam, applesauce, all of those big things, I am really, really grateful to have these heirlooms from my mom and my grandma. And every time I make corn or applesauce or use these pans for caramel corn, whatever it is, it just reminds me of my mom. And it means a lot that I can continue to do the traditions that they always did. So, all right, Mark and Nathan have finished cutting off the corn. So this is the last of what we're doing today. Hopefully it'll fit in my other pan here. It may not seem like it, but this year we are actually doing a smaller amount of corn because we have corn left over from last year, and so we just don't need quite as much. We'll let this go until it changes color on medium-high heat, and then we'll cool it down. This pan has turned a nice color and it's ready to be dumped to cool, and then this one won't be far behind. So let's go over and do that. Oh gosh, it's heavier than it looks. All right, we'll get our fan going here, and this will cool down pretty quickly. And then our other batch will go in this pan, and when it's all cool, we will continue to bag it in our quart bags with 2 cups each. You can put as much as you want in yours, and then we just sort of flatten them out so that they stack well in the freezer, and they'll be delicious till winter time. Okay, once this is frozen solid, you can use it all winter long. So what I do is when I get one out of the freezer, I'll let it thaw on the counter for a while, or if I'm in a hurry, put it in a pan of cool water and let it thaw out. And then we do finish cooking it on the stove. We heat it up in a pan, just like we did to parboil it, or to partially cook it. We're gonna put it in a pan and heat it up, and that's gonna finish cooking it, and it's gonna be delicious. So I hope you have enjoyed watching our family do sweet corn. As I said before, sometimes it's a big production with lots of people. This year we're not doing a lot, so we have a smaller group doing it, but it's always a family affair. I hope you can do some for your family. Meanwhile, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Happy baking!